Imagine you have just landed. You are tired. You have 15 minutes before your ride arrives. You have two choices. Option A, sit in this plastic chair, close your eyes and wait. Do absolutely nothing. Option B, walk to the baggage claim at the far end of the terminal and back. It takes exactly 15 minutes. There is no reward, no luggage to pick up, just walking. Which do you choose? Most of you, rationally, would choose to sit. Why waste energy walking for no reason? Evolution taught us to conserve calories, right? But what if I told you that if you chose to sit, you would likely end up statistically less happy than the person who took the pointless walk? We live in a culture that worships productivity. We complain about being swamped, slammed, and buried in work. But there is a strange, dark secret buried in our psychology. A secret that explains everything from why you scroll Twitter when you're bored, to why millions of people work 9, to 5 jobs where they do almost nothing of value. It turns out we don't hate work. We hate the alternative. We are terrified of the void. This is the science of idleness aversion. To understand this, we have to go back to a landmark study conducted by Christopher C., Adele Yang, and Liang-Yin Wang. They wanted to see just how far humans would go to avoid being left alone with their own thoughts. Here is the setup. Students were told to fill out a survey. After they finished, they were told they had to wait 15 minutes until the next part of the experiment. They were given a choice similar to our airport scenario. They could drop their survey off at a location nearby and wait out the remaining time doing nothing. Or they could drop it off a location far away, which would require walking for the entire 15 minutes. Here's the catch. To motivate them, the researchers offer a reward, a piece of chocolate. In the first version of the experiment, both locations offer the exact same milk chocolate. The result? The vast majority chose the nearby location. They chose idleness. Why walk 15 minutes for the same reward you can get in 1 minute? That's just logic. But then, the researchers observed the participants during that 15 minutes of waiting. They were bored. They were fidgety. They reported lower levels of happiness. So, the researchers ran the experiment again, but they made one tiny, seemingly irrelevant change. They offered milk chocolate at the nearby location and dark chocolate at the far location. Now, crucially, the participants didn't necessarily prefer dark chocolate, but the two options were now different. Suddenly, the majority of people chose to walk. And here's the kicker. When asked later, the walkers reported being significantly happier than the sitters. This is the core of idleness aversion. We want to be busy. We know that being busy makes us happier than doing nothing. But, and this is a huge but, we cannot choose to be busy without a justification. We are rational creatures. We can't just walk in circles. We feel like idiots. But if you give us a tiny, flimsy excuse, I'm walking to get the dark chocolate, suddenly, we have permission to do what we wanted to do all along, stay busy. Why is our brain wired this way? It seems like a contradiction. Law of conservation of energy. Do less, survive longer. Law of idleness aversion. Do more, feel better. For 99% of human history, doing nothing was dangerous. If you were idle, you weren't eating, you weren't building shelter, and you weren't watching for tigers. But there is a deeper physiological reason. When you stop focusing on a task, when you stop hunting, filing spreadsheets, or playing Candy Crush, your brain doesn't actually turn off. It switches networks. It activates the default mode network, DMN. This is the brain's autopilot. And what does the DMN do? It thinks about you. It reviews your past mistakes. It worries about your future. It analyzes your social standing. Did I say the wrong thing at dinner? Am I doing enough with my life? This is introspection. And for many of us, introspection is unpleasant. We've evolved a mechanism where doing feels safer than being. Busyness acts as a shield against the existential dread of the default mode network. As long as you're chasing the dark chocolate, you don't have to think about who you are. Now, let's apply this to the modern world, specifically the 8-hour workday. In 1930, the economist John Maynard Keynes wrote a famous essay titled Economic Possibilities for Our Grandchildren. He looked at the rate of technological advancement, electricity, mass production, automation, and he did the math. He predicted that by the 21st century, we would become so efficient that we would only need to work 15 hours a week to satisfy all our needs. The rest of the week, leisure, art, philosophy. Keynes was right about one thing. Productivity did skyrocket. The average worker today produces 4 to 5 times more value per hour than a worker in 1950. But he was dead wrong about the hours. We are still grinding out the 40-hour work week, often more. Why? If we can do a week's worth of 1930s work in a single day, why are we still here until 5 p.m.? The first answer is economic, and it's called lifestyle inflation, or the hedonic treadmill. Keynes assumed that human needs were finite. He thought once we had enough food, a house, and some clothes, we'd stop. He underestimated our ability to invent new wants. We didn't use our extra productivity to buy time. We used it to buy stuff. We traded the 15-hour workweek for SUVs, iPhones, Netflix subscriptions, and fast fashion. To maintain the standard of living we consider normal in 2026, we have to work the same hours as our grandparents, because our definition of poverty would have been their definition of luxury. But there's a darker economic reality, too. Since the 1970s, productivity kept going up, but wages flattened. The efficiency gains didn't go into the worker's pocket or their time off. It went to the shareholders. So, for many people, the 9 to 5 isn't a psychological choice. It's a survival mechanism in an economy where the cost of living has outpaced the value of labor. But let's look at the people who don't need to work to survive. The wealthy, the upper middle class. They are working longer hours than anyone. Why? This is where sociology flips the script. In the late 1800s, Thorstein Veblen coined the term the leisure class. Back then, if you were rich, you didn't work. A pale face and soft hands were status symbols. They proved you didn't have to labor in a field. Today, that has completely inverted. In the 21st century, busyness is a status symbol. If you are idle, society thinks you are redundant, unemployed, useless. But if you are slammed, buried, or crazy busy, it signals that you are in demand. It signals that you are important. We have socially engineered a world where your value as a human being is directly tied to your economic output. To choose a 15-hour work week is to choose social relevance. So, we perform busyness to prove we matter. Finally, there is the structure of the work itself. Anthropologist David Graeber proposed a theory called bullshit jobs. As automation killed off factory jobs, which are productive, we didn't just go home. We created a massive sector of administrative, managerial, and clerical roles that, well, don't really do anything. Graeber argued that in large organizations, power isn't measured by profit, but by the size of your empire. A manager is only important if they manage 10 people. So they hire 10 people. Those 10 people need something to do. So they create reports. Then you need someone to file the reports. Then someone to audit the filing of the reports. This brings us back to idleness aversion. Millions of us are trapped in these bullshit jobs. We finish our actual work in 2 hours, but we can't leave. So we invent problems. We call meetings to plan other meetings. We rearrange spreadsheets. We are doing the airport walk. We are walking to the far baggage claim to get the dark chocolate, not because we need the chocolate, but because the corporate structure in our own brains cannot tolerate the idea of us sitting in the chair doing nothing. We have built an entire economy designed to save us from the horror of our own free time. And when we leave work, do we finally embrace the rest? No, we have invented the ultimate idleness aversion machine. In the gaps of life, waiting for the elevator, waiting for the kettle to boil, we used to have micro moments of idleness. Now, we pull out the rectangle. We are terrified of the 30 seconds of boredom. There was another study, a shocking one, by the University of Virginia. Participants were put in a room for 15 minutes with nothing to do. No phones, no books. But there was a button. If you press a button, you would receive a painful electric shock. They had all previously said they would pay money not to be shocked. But when left alone with their thoughts for 15 minutes, 67% of men and 25% of women chose to shock themselves. Let that sink in. We would rather feel physical pain than feel nothing. We would rather be negatively stimulated than not stimulated at all. So, what is the cost of this aversion? If we are always running for the dark chocolate, always shocking ourselves to stay awake, what do we lose? We lose creativity. Neuroscience shows that your best ideas, the eureka moments, don't happen when you are busy. They happen when you are in the shower, when you are driving, when you are staring at the clouds. They happen when the default mode network is allowed to wander. By killing idleness, we are killing the very thing that makes us innovative. We are trading genius for productivity. So what is the solution? It isn't to stop working. We need purpose. We need to build things. But we need to stop needing a justification for every moment of our existence. The Dutch have a concept called niks en. It literally means to do nothing. It is not meditation. It is not mindfulness. It is just looking out a window. It is letting the engine idle without driving the car. The next time you are waiting at a gate, or waiting for a webpage to load, or sitting in a meeting that finished 5 minutes early, don't pick up your phone. Don't look for a task. Just sit. It will be uncomfortable. You will feel the itch. But remember the experiment. You aren't bored because you have nothing to do. You are bored because you haven't given yourself permission to do nothing. Give yourself permission. The chocolate isn't worth the walk.